I had to learn how to do that.
Talk a little bit about that. I think you said that great, people pleaser, because I think a lot of us are like that. I definitely find myself to be like that at times, but I think now that you've added a lot of the social media aspect with kids and their development, that they're kind of like trying to please the masses of people through social media. Talk
Yeah.
about how you've navigated that, just how you were that way, and kind of how you navigated dealing with that, to try to figure out what was actually best for you through this.
Yeah. One of the things that I kind of learned by being thrown into the waves, into the fire. Like after I was drafted my junior year, and then I decided to go back. It's like social media. A lot of fans in Pittsburgh really had an issue with that. They felt like I spurned their team. By not signing with the Pirates after they drafted me, that I just, it was like an insult to the city of Pittsburgh, which is the furthest thing from, if you know me, like what I would do or like what I care about. It's like I care about people. I love people. I love hearing stories of people from all different walks of life. It's like relationships matter a whole lot to me. And so, it's funny how me just making a decision to return to Stanford for my senior year um, prompted such outrage. And so on social media, it's like I learned that I tried to do the best, make the best decisions I could, with a pure intentions, yet people interpreted it and received it in a really negative way. And there was literally nothing I could do to change their mind unless I maybe spent the time and sat down with each and every person that was ticked off by me going back to school and had a long conversation and broke bread with them so that they could get to know me. Then maybe, and even then, maybe they're just like, you know, you're just full of yourself, or like, I don't believe anything that you're saying, or whatever. And so I had to learn the hard way of just being like, all right, I can't live my life for the sake of making other people happy. But sometimes we get to that point and we say, well, then screw it. I'm just going to tick everyone off, and I'm not going to listen to anyone, and I'm just going to be me and do me. And that's it. Right. It's like this hyper individualism. We're like, and I don't think that's the answer either. So it's like we can't bow down to everyone, but we also don't want to make enemies with everyone. And like there's this middle road that what I think navigating life, especially as a baseball player, a young player in social media, is being sincere and having your moral convictions and living by those, and but not abandoning, people, or just cutting people off if they don't agree with you, but having good conversations. Because like some of the biggest leaps in development I made were when coaches or other people actually had disagreements with me. They're like, hey, you're doing something your way, and I think if you do it differently, you actually might be better. But that comes from a place of trust in relationship. And you have to have trust in order to listen to what someone is saying. Because if someone just criticizes without, having that trust, like you're going to take that and you say, they just don't believe in me, and they're just trying to change me. And I dealt with that even with some coaches when I was with the Astros. I had coaches that they never took the time to develop the trust. They just expected trust because they were the coach, and they would give me all of these things to change when they never took the time to get to know me or develop a relationship with me, so that I would be an opening ear, or I would have an open ear and be really receptive to the changes that they want to make, you know? And then the issue that I had was that I wanted to please them. So I would try to make the changes without believing in the changes, because we never had that relationship. And I felt like, okay, well, maybe it's my job to make them trust me, and I will essentially bow down to their wishes, even though I feel like what they're asking me to do is actually hurting me. And that's a really tough place to be.
I mean, I got to see Ken Revisa speak at the ABCA convention a long time ago, and that just literally has stuck with me forever. people have to know you care before they care what you know. And
Yeah.
it's like one of the most massive things that I think coaches overlook. And that's where a lot of times when I'm training coaches that I've got, yeah, this guy, he's, he doesn't listen to this and that. And, it becomes like, what do you know about him? Why? What do you think makes him that way? And it's like, if you dig a little deeper and start to get to know them and build that trust, super important. And, obviously you're dealing with that in pro ball, and you can imagine that at the youth levels, a lot of people are not equipped to be able to do that. And we end up being
Yeah.
psychologists a little bit here. And